Howdy. Near-day senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Thumbs up for that. Yay. Oh boy. It has been a day. Yesterday, I played Fallout New Vegas for the channel. Recorded it, edited it, like just about 40 minutes of video. And then went to render it, thought I did something to mess it up, and it crashed. So it took a couple times of crashing before it would just render. And then it would hit 49%, same frame, stop. So I still figured it was something I might have been doing. And just before I went to bed, I set it to rendering. And when I woke up, 6 hours later, 49% same frame. So that's why I split the video in half, and now it's up that way. But I've tweeted about this, but I'm going to talk about this right now too. It has felt, as much as it is a nuclear apocalypse, and by definition, you know, an apocalypse is like 98% of everyone in the world dies. Now, aside from the fact that it's a nuclear apocalypse, I do have the wild and weird west part turned on, so it's less grim. It's still grim, you know. Some of the jokes are because you find dead people, and so, but it's a little bit less horrific, more, hey, here's a dead person as a joke, instead of, here's a dead person, don't you feel sad? And so I've got that turned on, so it's been lighter and fluffier, and it's still deadly. I mean, you know, the Cazadors, it's taken me and my companion a time before we've been able to take them on even more than one at a time, and it better be no more than like two, because they hit like a frickin' Mack truck. So it is serious, but light and fluffy at the same time amidst all the death and destruction. Until I and Veronica went to Kaiser's camp. And it didn't feel light and fluffy anymore. I mean, I tried to talk as fluffy as I could while playing it, but it felt grim and tense. Because Kaiser, as well, I mean, as goofy as the rest of the Wasteland. Yeah, because the Wasteland is goofy, the Wasteland is silly, the Wasteland is funny. And Kaiser is deadly fucking serious. the huge change in tone is what makes it feel much more grim, and oh boy. Because even coming across the Legion before, you know, it's all kind of goofy stuff, but this is, it's right there. So, yeah, good game, and I seem to have, I have vague memories of when I played it in the past. I don't remember, because of ADHD, things are perennially, if that's the word, they're always new. All I have to do is wait a year if I've played a game and beaten it, and I've forgotten the broad stroke. I have forgotten the fine details. I can't speak English. I'll get back to this too. I have forgotten the fine details, but I remember the broad strokes. So it's like, oh, Fallout New Vegas, Kaiser's men and his Legion are the threat. Broad strokes, I remember that. Details, they're lost through ADHD. And that's why I can keep coming back to and playing the game Grim Dawn. I mean, I started that game like 4,000 times. And I'm still, in the very beginning stuff, being surprised by things that I shouldn't be surprised by. But the details are gone. The broad strokes are all that remain. I mean, I've almost beat that game. And I still, whoosh, no details, just broad strokes. So yeah, it's been fun and grim and all of that. I've been role-playing as best I can for my character. So even though I know things, she doesn't, so she's doing stuff. When I've been expressing my views in the game about how the old world, there is nothing of the old world that is worth preserving. It is the old world that brought everyone to the point where it is now. You go back to the old world. If you cling to the old ways, you're just going to do it again, and they still keep doing it. Don't cling to the old ways. Burn it all down and start something new. But while I believe this is me playing the game, that's also my character's viewpoint. She doesn't know, because she took that bullet to the head. Her memories of things that happened to her are gone from when she was shot in the head. But she's still got the, I talk, I survive, I know how to dress myself skills, and everything in the world that she's seeing is new and fascinating and fun, but she also sees that the old world is the wreckage and the ruin, and so much of the old world is dangerous and poisonous because of radiation. She sees no reason to cling to the old world, and that is her view. Burn it all down and start fresh. So thumbs up. So she's not a nihilist. Totally. She believes in something that she's not quite sure what it is. As time goes on, she will further codify her beliefs, but for right now, this is where she's at. So thumbs up. First part of it, by the time I've been saying this, has already been up. The second part I've uploaded. I just have to make it go public. That's going to be sometime after this goes. So yay on that. It is a great game. I've been talking with somebody online on Twitter about it, and they are very critical of it. They hate the way it looks entirely. And I can't say on the one hand that I blame them, because especially when you're going to Kaiser's camp and you're going down to the place where you're going to catch the boat to get there, everything is just brown. The water, the sky, the land, everything is just shades of brown. You look at each other, it's all just shades of brown. I mean, it's boring when it's not just awful. But of course, I am running it vanilla. I have made 0 changes, and there is a huge guide to make it much more stable and which mods to add. Now, because of the way that I've ended up in the game, which you'll see on the second half when it goes up, I need to make some different choices on my next playthrough, because I ended up with Yes Man the last time I played. Well, I've complained about walking in the same footsteps here in real life, so apparently I do it in game too. So thumbs up on that. I do have some other things written down. I've gotten to the point where I can sometimes write things down on here. I've got, like Fallout New Vegas and doctor appointment meds. Oh, doctor appointment in meds. Yes, please. I got to talk about that one, because yesterday what messed up a lot of my scheduling was I had a doctor's appointment because I have a pain in my back, where I've mentioned this a lot in the past. Now, I prefaced even talking to them. I went and said, I got to tell this in story form. I'm not quite sure about the pain in my back because of this. Then I told the story of the pain in my front that turned out just to be a muscle cramp. But it felt like it was something deep inside of me that was awful. When I was leaning and he was pressing on that area that I had pointed on that was hurting, it kind of felt like you pressed one of my intercostal muscles. Your intercostals are the muscles between your ribs. So if you press between your ribs, you're pushing on your intercostal muscles. For whatever reason, when you push on my intercostals on this side, they hurt a lot. And when he pushed on that area down there, he got into the intercostals, and it gave me that hurt that I get on the inside. It could be another situation like a muscle cramp here, except it's intercostals, because I've had horrible, oh my God, am I going to have a heart attack pains sharp, which is not a heart attack pain, but then just go, okay, okay, search it down, press on the intercostal muscle, and it's the exact same pain. If it's a heart attack type issue, cardiac thing, you're going to feel pressure and weight. You'll have pain there too, but it's going to be more pressure and weight. So if it's sharp and all that, and you've got no other things going on, likely something else, but if you are having that, please talk to your doctor. So I went in there, talked to him, he's checking on that, we're going to get some CTs done. I did some urine, dropped off a urine sample. On my last one, when he had said there was protein and urine in my blood, okay, I had no way of processing based on the test and all this what was what. Extremely minuscule. When they take a look at your urine through a microscope to check for blood, the view is divided up into grids, and then they physically count, not likely a machine, hopefully not a person, that would be awful, the red blood cells in the grids. I had like 2 blood cells in each grid. It was a micro amount of blood, and that's even the definition that for that amount. It's a micro amount, indetectable basically. The amount of protein, also small. So another sample to check on it and see how that's doing. But I'm starting to feel much more positive about a lot of things. So the one thing I'm not very positive about, blood pressure. It was not good when I went there. So I am starting a blood pressure med that is hopefully something that I can just easily get off of once I get things back under control. What scares me about all this is back when I was married and I weighed, well, getting close to 300 pounds, my blood pressure was still around 113/60. So even if my weight is at a 230, which I have been losing weight, I went in wearing a lot of clothing because it's chill, heavy boots, and I was at the weight that I had been when wearing light clothing and very light shoes. So didn't lose much, but I had been losing weight. And I have been exercising more, and my blood pressure was up more. So yeah, that's scary. So I'm going to be starting, I have been starting this med. I'm going to be taking it an hour before I go to bed. So there we go. I have been having bad headaches for like the last 4 days. Guess what? I haven't had a headache this morning. Yes, you can blow a blood vessel, and that's bad. The biggest damage that high blood pressure does is damage over time. It makes your blood vessels more brittle so that you are more likely to have circulatory and, like stroke, bleeding issues as you get older. So it increases the odds of bad things happening, damage over time. And while I'm 60, and there's not a huge, 61 to be honest, because I can't help that, neurodivergent. It's close enough to a lie that I gotta be more accurate so I can not feel bad about lying. And there's not a ton of time, not an incredible amount of changes I can make to my personality and life before I kick off anyway. So, but there's changes and things. Who knows why I brought it up that way? I can't even remember. ADHD. Talking to someone in the comments about ADHD. If you've watched my videos for any length of time, you also know it is common for me to forget what I'm talking about right in the middle of a sentence. That happens in real life too, not just here. So I will be talking to people, and right in the middle of answering a question, in the middle of a sentence, I don't even know what the next word is that I'm supposed to say because I've forgotten what I had been saying. It's like, what were we talking about? And try to not sound rude when you do that. Yay. But let's see what else I have on here. Oh! I watch a channel, Solid JJ. What this guy does to make his cartoons, and he has occasionally worked with other people to do actual animated stuff. But what he does is he takes old still photos from the old Justice League stuff from like, what, the 70s or the 80s? Whenever that was. This is ancient stuff. And then he puts his own text captions on it and reads these as each character. And so this latest one was Batman was jealous of all the people that had powers like super speed. And so Superman and the Flash were both telling him, no, 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 super speed sucks. And if you've ever read comic books, especially DC, they covered this like, well, decades back in the 80s and 90s and stuff, where people like the Flash, it's like constantly living in a world of still statues. It would be horrific to have super speed. But they're talking about, it's like where Superman is going, oh yeah, great. You know, everyone says, you know, there's an atomic bomb and it's about to go off. And everyone says, Superman, disarm the atomic bomb. And they throw a book at me. I still have to read that thing in what feels like real time to me. You're watching me just go, and then I disarm a bomb. I have to sit down and read it, page by page. And I have to understand it. I have to comprehend it. Then I go over and I can, and then I can disarm it. And the Flash also just saying, yeah, we don't, you know, our thinking doesn't speed up. It's not bad when I have to run across town at super speed. I have to walk across town. That's doable. But when you tell me to run to Antarctica, that's like walking. I'm walking to Antarctica. My brain isn't going any faster. I walk to Antarctica. And Batman's just getting more and more horrified, like, oh my God. So that worldwide punch that you do, where the Flash runs around the world and then punches someone, he goes, yeah, to me, that takes years. I'm walking around the world. And so they're just, Batman's like, oh my God, until, you know, this, I'm glad I don't do these things, until the Flash at the end just proves to be an idiot, just saying, yeah, you know, it takes a lot of energy to do this, and here at first I just thought I was dying. I'd run around and I'd get really weak and I'd think I was dying, so I'd eat food to clear my head and I'd feel better. And they're like, and you never put those things together? I was like, no, I just thought I was dying. And so Superman just says to the others, we're falling apart, guys. This isn't sustainable. And I laughed out loud at that, because these are people that are hurting. And that was a statement that is an acknowledgement of the fact that they are falling apart and suffering because of what's happening to them. And that was funny. That was hysterical. Their suffering is hysterical. So much media around the world is based on human suffering, whether someone dies or they're just suffering. Isn't that amazing? Think about all of the media that you take in that is built on the very foundation of human suffering. If it's not to laugh at, and again, take a look at how many comedies are based on human suffering. One of them still, it was a comedy, and I thought it was great back before The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and Samuel Jackson weren't afraid to die in the movie. And they had their characters die in like the first 15 minutes of the movie because they were overconfident jerks. And they just were at the top of a tall building, looked down and were saying, hey, aim for the bushes, and they jumped. And the cameras followed them down until they went whack onto the sidewalk. Because they just jumped off a building. And they both died because they hit the sidewalk. And then the next scene, of course, is the burial and the funeral. That's hysterical. And it's based off two guys accidentally dying. So much of our humor is based on that. Thumbs up. I mean, I approve. I'm a human being. And I do find, the whole human death and suffering thing funny. Whether on a normal basis, take a look at things like Castaway, where we went and watched a movie about a guy Tom Hanks get lost on a desert island for 4 years, suffering, knocking out his own infected teeth, until finally he makes it back home. Yeah, sure, it's a story about the indomitable will of the human spirit, but we still watched him suffer for at least an hour and a half. Yay! Again, I'm a human being, so I can't say I disapprove. And you'll notice I'm waving my arm around in the air like I just don't care. Again, I've been very careful when I'm not doing things like making videos or using my controller, so that when I am doing like 20 minutes and 36 seconds, I've got a camera up there at the top of my recording thing. No, I can do that for a short period of time, because afterward I'm just going to edit and leave this arm mostly not doing anything, and afterward either watch videos and not do anything, or play games where I'm holding controller down like this and my arm's barely doing anything. Yes, I need surgery. It is impacting my life so negatively that it isn't even funny. I don't want surgery. It's largely a crapshoot. But it's either risk surgery and risk horrible things happening and risk maybe it doesn't work great, or don't do anything and this gets worse and this gets worse, and then it affects all of me and I die. So I'm going to take the surgery. I'm also going to just, like I say, try and take it easy today after all the videos are done. I'm going to play some games, watch some videos, go for walkies. I still do all that. I got to keep exercising. Ow, ow, ow. My neck, because my neck muscles are so sore. But they've been sore for decades. Yay. And hopefully you can get done the things that you want to get done. That would be very, very good. Remember, as you've seen me stumble very many times through here, don't go don't go stop, pause, then continue. Anyway though, each and every one of my Patreon patrons, thumbs up, thank you so very much. And of course, if everybody else, if you've watched, if you could write post-it notes. I think I've already said that one. I'm saying it again. But thank you each and every one of my Patreon patrons. Even though I still, I want to not... Using the keyboard, I mean, I'm still keeping my arm right here. It's not that far from my head. To use my keyboard to do anything, I have to extend my arm. And then it's up and out and being used. And ooh, that ain't good. So I got to do that in very, very short bursts for very short periods of time still. So, thumbs up and thank you. For everybody that has left me a comment, I do appreciate it. I had another abusive comment today. If it's abusive, you're gone. If it's not, you can disagree with me violently. You can just say, I am an idiot, as long as you don't use those words. Don't be abusive. Say it politely. But as long as you're not abusive, your comment will stay. Take a look at some of the comments and such, and conversations I have had with people in the comments that I have disagreed with, and they have disagreed with me. So, anyway though, thumbs up, thank you. And, God, I've forgotten how this goes. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very, very good thing. You gotta laugh at yourself. I mean, it's cool. It may not be cool, but still, if you don't laugh at yourself, then you're I don't know. It still seems like a good idea though.